1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Good morning, class. My name is Miss Ramos. You may call me Miss R if that's too hard to say. Today's lesson is subtraction base 10 blocks. First, I will be going over the vocabulary words and the examples of what those definitions are. Next, I will be going over the math steps for the lesson of today. After that, I will be going over and giving you some example problems, and then I will ask if anyone has any questions. Lastly, I will give you 3 practice problems for you all to work on your own. Now let's begin. Our first vocabulary word is a ones block. A ones block is unit blocks of 1. And here's a visual example of a ones block. So we have in a problem your top number, which will be the amount of blocks in a problem. The bottom number is the amount of blocks to be crossed out, and your answer, the amount of blocks left over. Here is a tens block. For the top number, we have our tens block right here. The amount that needs to be taken out or crossed out, 6 right here. And the amount left over is your answer, which happens to be ones blocks right here. So here's an example of ones blocks left over. Next, a tens block. A tens block is unit blocks of 10. This is an example of a tens block. We have in a problem your top number, which is the amount of blocks in a problem, the bottom number, the amount of blocks to be crossed out, and once again your answer, the amount of blocks left over. So here is the top number for the problem, and this is the tens block. Next, subtraction. Subtraction is the process of finding how many are left when taken away. And here's a visual example, which I'm sure all of you already know, is a subtraction sign, which is a minus symbol. Also, we have base 10, the system that we use in everyday life to count things. So let's go ahead and look at those numbers again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, let's go over the math steps for today's lesson. First, you will need to set up the top number using the 10 blocks base system. So, we have number 2. Cross off the blocks, which is to subtract the amount in the ones place from the ones block. Third step is to count the leftovers. And the fourth step is to write the number in the answer space. Now, does anyone have any questions? Okay? So let's go ahead and get started with our first example. Okay, so our first example problem is 13 take away 3. The first math step is to set up the top number using the base 10 blocks. Now let's set up that top number, which is 13. So there's 10, 1, 2, 3. So we have our top number, 13, which is the top number says the total amount of blocks in a problem. 13 is our top number. We have 10, 11, 12, 13. We used our tens blocks and our ones blocks to make 13. The second step is cross off the blocks, which is to subtract the amount in the ones place from the ones block. Now, let's cross off 3. 1, 2, 3. Our third step is to count the leftovers. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the fourth step is to write out the number in the answer space. So we're going to go ahead and write the answer. Our second problem is going to be 12 minus 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and work that problem out. We're going to make a tens block for 10. 10, 11, 12. So we have 12, and we're going to go ahead and do, so I'm sorry, we have our set up the top number using the tens block, which is 12 right here. 10, 11, 12. Cross off the blocks and subtract the amount in the ones place from the ones block. So subtract 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count the leftovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fourth step, write the number in the answer space. So we have 6. Our third example is 15 minus 6. And let me just renumber these for you all. This is our third example, 15 minus 6. Now let's go ahead and create the 15 by starting to use the tens blocks. So we set up the top number using the base 10 blocks. 15, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we're going to cross off the blocks and the amount of the ones placed from the ones block. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our third step. Count the leftovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Write the answer in the answer space. That is our last step. Okay, so now it is time for all of you all to practice on your own. But before then, does anybody have any questions? Okay, class, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and practice. Have you all practice by passing out some practice problems. Here you go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you all just a few minutes to practice on to work on your practice problems. How's everyone doing? Good? Okay, everyone. Now that you all have completed your practice problems, let's go ahead and work them out. So, our first practice problem was 10 minus 4. So our first step is to set up the top number using the tens base blocks, the base tens blocks. So we're going to set up 10. 10. So the second step is to cross off the blocks, subtract the amount in the ones place from the ones block. So we're going to take away 4 by crossing them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our third step is to count the leftovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our last step is write the number in the answer space. So we have 6. We're going to write our answer 6. Did everybody get 6? Great. Our second step problem is 20, take away 12. So first we're going to set up the top number using the base 10 blocks, and we're going to set up 20. So we're going to use 10 for our top. So we're going to actually use 2 tens blocks. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we have our total number, which is the top number, 20. We're going to cross off the blocks, subtract the amount in the ones place from the ones block, which is crossing out 12. Let's cross out 12, everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is obvious is the tens block. Now 11, 12. Now the third step is to count the leftovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our last step is to write the answer in the answer space. So we have 8. Now our last problem. 11. We're going to set up the top number using a base tens block. So we have our top number, which is 11, and we're going to, that's our first step. Our second step is to cross off the blocks, subtract the amount from the ones place, which is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now our third step is to count the leftovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our last step is to write the number in the answer space. Did everybody get the same answer as well? Great job, guys. Okay, now we just went over our practice problems. So we basically know now how to use subtraction based 10 blocks. So what we learned today was the process of it, and our definitions was the ones block. So you now know what a ones block is, you now know what a tens block is, and now you know what a base 10 is, which we use every day. So we won't be having any homework on this today, but if you all have any questions on this, just go ahead and let me know. But overall, we do now know the subtraction using base 10 blocks. All right, everyone? Okay, so go ahead and put all your work away, and we're going to go to centers.